Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, May 1st, and somehow we only have 2 weeks of the semester left. You can't be blamed if it doesn't feel like it. What's stranger still is to reflect on the fact that we've been doing our meetings and other coursework this way ever since the middle of March. How weird is that? Anyway, even though a lot of us have already been able to overcome this shift in format, I wanted to take some time to make sure that we all know exactly what we need to be focusing on for the next 2 weeks, give or take. We're making the final swing here into the last project, and this is the project that I've entitled the Nothing Was the Same Afterward paper. This announcement is by no means a replacement for looking over those assignment guidelines. Make sure you do it. But in very broad terms, the idea there is to take some development from your field and argue that it was so important that not only did it change the field itself, it actually changed the entire world around it. Right? So it needed to be something very significant. The topics for that have already been due, but if you're still working on topics and you want to email me with those, I'll do my best to get back to you. We're going into the weekend, which means that I won't be as readily available. If, though, I do see that an email comes in, I will try very hard to get that back to you. So if you're going to do that, make sure to do that as soon as you can. Going into next Monday, I'm going to ask you to draft out your final research paper. Things are compressed, and I know that I acknowledged that with a separate message a little while ago. Do the best job on this draft that you're able to, and I'll make sure that as I do my comments and suggestions, I give extra support to anybody who isn't quite clear on what direction to take here. There's actually a decent amount of time on this. Really, we're just focusing on the drafting of the final paper. So, like I said, do the best you can on the draft, and I'll help out however I can once you got that first draft in. As we've done for previous assignments, make sure that first draft has been submitted to both the Blackboard Dropbox and also the discussion board. That way we can do the read around. I'll publish expectations for the read around very soon. I'll make sure those are up by the time next week starts. So just to reiterate, on May 4th, we'll have a draft of the paper due uploaded to the Blackboard Dropbox as well as to the discussion board. After that, May 8th will be when I ask you to finish your peer responses. Make sure that those are in by then. And I'll also have a sign up for a one-on-one research paper conference with me available through Doodle. It's an easy sign up tool. So be on the lookout for that late next week. As of the 11th of May, those research paper conferences will begin, and I'll make sure that by then I've looked at the entire draft, and I'll be presenting you with a suggestion of possible revisions and additional ways to go on that. Again, I'm looking to make sure that I can supply whatever support to you that's necessary. Finally, the final course research paper itself will be due on the 18th, and that's that. Once you got that in, I'll be grading those and posting final grades as soon as I can. I've heard from a number of people in the course that they needed to take incompletes, either because they were simply too busy or life's become too chaotic, or they just didn't think they'd be able to finish the content of the course online. There's really no deadline for that necessarily, but think about the way that your other courses are going. If it would help you a lot to not have to do the work of this course to focus on the other ones, the incomplete's a possibility. So if you're considering that, please let me know soon. In general, in fact, let me know if there are any difficulties I can help with. I'm hoping that some of you are in contact with some others of you. If so, spread the word. I've tried to be as accommodating as I can, and if it turns out that I've been disorganized or it's otherwise my fault, I've got no problem admitting that. I'll work with you, you work with me, and together we'll get this done. Thanks.